Hello, please come in. My name's Marina and I'm a life coach here at Celestial Life Solutions. So welcome to your first session here where I'll be helping you plan your New Year's resolutions as per your request. Can I start just by asking about your previous experience with setting New Year's resolutions? Sure. I think that especially when we come to the end of a year or sort of the beginning of a new year, a lot of us decide to make resolutions for the coming year. We tend to kind of sit down and write our list with the best intentions. But unfortunately, many resolutions are actually abandoned in the first few months. So I think that reflects your experience. And also, some people even never get started on them at all. So for me, what I believe is that part of the problem is that New Year's resolutions tend to be simply wishful thinking without any grounding or focus. The way that I approach New Year's resolutions, I don't necessarily think they should be done at the beginning of the year. I think they can be done at any time of the year because as humans, we change, what was good for us, what we wanted to achieve at a certain time may change with our priorities, our lifestyle decisions and things like that. So the way that I think I would approach it now that we're at the start of a new year is to really look at visualizing new goals based on previous year's learnings. So making sure we're always kind of incorporating our own experiences of how we're feeling currently and how we want to feel going forward. And I think that from that will help kind of create some kind of goals that are going to be possible to achieve. And I wouldn't focus on too many goals. I would say between 1 to 3 goals is what you should kind of be looking at. I think any more than that, it can become quite overwhelming. So in our session today, what I propose we do is that we do a reflection exercise where I'm going to ask you a series of questions to explore the year that's just passed, uncover what is working and what isn't actually working for you, and then we can carve out a plan for this year. How does that sound? Fantastic. So I'll be taking notes during this session, so don't worry, you don't need to note anything down yourself unless you feel that you want to, of course. And I will share these notes with you after the session, so if you want to kind of go over something, flesh out something a bit more, it can always be helpful to take that time after this session. At the moment, feel free to kind of, when I ask you the question, say whatever the first thing is that comes to your head. Don't worry about too much, you can refine it later, but it's good to kind of just get it out, get that reflection session in. I think that's really important, and well done as well for taking the first steps towards this. So are you ready to get started? Okay, so what would you say are the things that are different from last year? Were there any kind of major life changes or anything like that? Sure. And what things have remained the same? Okay, sure. And how would you describe your overall well-being right now? How you feel in this current present? For sharing that. And what moments from the past year excited you? Sure, thank you for sharing that. And then if you could return to this time last year, what would you do differently? Yeah, take your time. I know sometimes these questions, they really get you thinking. But as I said, like whatever comes to your head, nothing is a wrong answer. It's whatever you think. And then I'll send you the notes, as I said, so you can think about it a bit more after our session if you need to. Yeah? And what would you actually do the same? Interesting. Okay. And then this might be a trickier one, but can you list 3 achievements from the past year that you're really proud of? Mm-hmm. Take your time to think of the last one. That's totally fine. Great. Those are fantastic achievements. Well done. You should always, I think, especially these times, you should always kind of, if you can, every day kind of think of 3 things that you're grateful for every day, just to kind of get some perspective on things and keep celebrating your wins as well. So things you're proud of, things you're grateful for every day. If you think of a few of those things, that can be really grounding as well. And can you tell me what were some of the personal challenges that you faced this year? Mm-hmm. Okay. And what was the best thing that you learned this year? And how do you feel about your physical health at this moment in time? And how about your mental health? How do you feel about that? And there's no right or wrong answer, just to let you know. And what can you do now that you couldn't do this time last year? some of the happiest moments from the past year for you? And how do you feel about your relationships? And that can be both friendships and also like partners, colleagues, things like that. Because I know you're talking to me about friends now, but just to say. And now for a more difficult question, what were some of the hardest moments for you in the past year? Sure. And did you make any new habits? And is there anything you wish you did more of? Sure. And then how do you feel about your relationship with technology? And did anything surprising happen to you this year? Did your relationship with yourself change by any means? Sure. And what did you overcome? And did you feel stressed often, would you say? Were there any kind of triggering things for that? Sure. And what new experiences did you have? what is the main thing that you would like to achieve this year? Okay, sure. I think that's a really great goal. And what small steps will you take to make it happen? Because as I mentioned before, it can sometimes seem a bit overwhelming, so it's important to think about the little steps that you would take. So kind of, I guess step 1 to 5 or something, how you think you're going to make that happen. Just to your best of your knowledge, don't worry, things always change. Sure. And who in your life offers you the best support? And what 3 things are you passionate about? Sure. And if you could change one thing about your life, what would it be? Okay. And what makes you feel excited? How do you best learn new things? Sure. And what is a dream that you have always had? Okay. And what do you want to keep the same? And what makes you feel drained? And how would you like to make an impact on the world around you? And what are your best qualities? And are there any habits that you'd like to break? And who inspires you? Okay. And do you have any childhood dreams that you'd like to come true? How will you take care of yourself this year? And what are the signs that you need to take a break? Sure. And what things make you feel motivated? How do you work best? does success look like to you? How do you overcome hurdles? And what new experiences are you looking forward to? And how are you going to prioritize joy? Okay, and where do you want to be in a year's time? Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer those questions as best as you possibly could. Now you can actually write your resolutions. So based on this, I'm going to send you kind of all the notes I took, and you can review your own notes if you've taken any. And what I would suggest is that you'll write your resolutions now. So focus on 1 to 3 of them, and you can write them in the form of sort of a letter or a list, like you would if you were to write to Santa Claus when you were a child. So write down everything you want to achieve, how you want this to happen. So kind of like, you remember when I was speaking about a bit earlier, step by step. So if you can focus on those sort of 1 to 3 resolutions, how you're going to achieve them step by step, and then add the names of the people who you would need to be involved for you to achieve that resolution, and then kind of add how important the goals are if you have more than one. So as I said, kind of focus on 1 to 3, and how you want to feel when you achieve them. So I advise you to be as creative as you want. So take this away, have a think, reflect on it, and then we can talk about it in our next session. How does that sound? Okay, fantastic. It's been lovely speaking with you, and I wish you all the best with creating your New Year's resolutions, and I hope to speak to you very soon. Thank you. Bye.